Streptococcus pneumoniae. As its name shows that it is responsible for causing the most common infection, pneumonia. It is the gram-positive bacterium, also called pneumococcus, as it is a coccus and is responsible for causing pneumonia, hence named pneumococcus. Streptococcus has got two words in it. First one is strapped, which means chains. So this bacteria is responsible for forming chains and resembles a string of beads. And the second word is coccus, which means spherical or round. And this bacteria belongs to the family Streptococcaceae. As in this picture, you can see that this bacteria resembles a string of beads, just like that. Assalamualaikum friends, welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be talking about Streptococcus pneumoniae. In my recent videos, I've talked about Streptococcus in detail and also Staphylococcus. If you've missed those videos, find the links in the description. But before getting started, I'd like to tell you guys that these videos are meant for educational purposes. Things and treatments may change with time. If I get wrong or miss anything, your input is always welcomed in the comments section. So let's jump straight into the video. This bacteria is catalase negative. If you're not familiar with what is catalase negative and what's positive, so let's talk about that. Catalase is an enzyme released by different bacteria. Streptococcus is a bacteria which does not release catalase. So it is catalase negative. What happens in the catalase test? Bacteria converts hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen is responsible for forming bubbles. It is an alpha-hemolytic bacteria. Streptococcus are further classified based on hemolysis, serology, and biochemistry. On the basis of hemolysis, Streptococcus are further classified into alpha, beta, and gamma hemolytic bacteria. Streptococcus pneumoniae comes in the category of alpha hemolytic. Hemolysis is the breakdown of red blood cells. So alpha hemolytic is the partial hemolysis on blood agar. It is the incomplete lysis of blood. It forms a green zone around their colonies. What's the reason behind forming the green zone? Green color is formed when hydrogen peroxide produced by the bacteria oxidizes hemoglobin in red color to biliverdin in green color. This is the green zone around the colonies of the alpha hemolytic bacteria, and this is the blood agar. On the left side, you can see alpha hemolysis with partial hemolysis. Alpha hemolytic bacteria are further classified based on the optochin sensitivity. Streptococcus pneumoniae is optochin sensitive. As we've talked about that, strep pneumonia is optochin sensitive and strep viridans is optochin resistant. So what does that sensitivity and resistance actually refer to? Sensitivity means that bacteria will not be able to survive in the presence of that disc. So you can see this empty space around that disc and bacteria is killed. And resistance means that bacteria will definitely survive in the presence of that disc. And you cannot see any empty spaces around that disc and bacteria survive. You can memorize it like pneumonia has got O in it and optochin starts with O, so it is optochin sensitive. And also it is bile-soluble, that it gets dissolved in bile very easy and quickly. It is a facultative anaerobe. Lecture outline, we are done with the introduction. Now we'll be talking about the classification of Streptococcus. We'll also talk about the morphology, habitat, transmission, pathogenesis, clinical findings, lab diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of Streptococcus pneumoniae, and how can we end this lecture without reviewing it. So at the end, as usual, we'll review the lecture. Morphology, shape. Streptococcus pneumoniae is lancet-shaped diplococci occurring in chains. The term lancet-shaped means that the diplococci are oval with somewhat pointed ends rather than being round. They are arranged in pairs or short chains. Their diameter varies from 0.5 to 1.25 micrometers and its color is purple. Can you guess why? Yes, because it's a gram-positive bacteria. Due to its thick cell wall, it has stained that color in it. This bacteria has no flagella, that's why it is non-motile. And this bacteria possess polysaccharide capsule that have 91 antigenically distinct types, means serotypes based on different sugars in the polysaccharide, with type-specific antiserum capsules swell. This is called the Lange reaction, and this can be used to identify the type, means the serotype of the bacteria. And the capsules are also virulent. They are considered to be the virulent factor responsible for causing disease, and they are involved in the pathogenesis of the diseases caused by strep pneumoniae. Why? Because they've got antiphagocytic properties. The cell wall of the bacteria is also very important because it has got teichoic acids in it. which are also called C polysaccharides, and they react with liver proteins called the C-reactive protein or CRP. And the cell membrane does exist in that bacteria. This is how this bacteria looks under the microscope. It is purple color due to Gram stain, and they're a bit distant from each other. They are diplococci. They're arranged in pairs and chains, as you can see. Habitat. Humans are the natural hosts for pneumococci. There are no animal reservoirs, so they are the part of normal human flora, and they live in nasopharynx. Transmission. Being a part of normal flora, they are not much communicable, but it also depends on the type of the disease. If it is pneumonia, it will definitely spread with respiratory droplets via coughing or sneezing. They can also cause infection in individuals with weaker immune system and defenses. For example, in infants and elderly individuals, and people affected with HIV, diabetes, malignancy, any kind of cancer, if a person is consuming alcohol or is a smoker. Pathogenesis. Pathogenesis can be discussed with the help of virulence factors. So for Streptococcus pneumoniae, we've got 4 major virulence factors. The first one is polysaccharide capsule, second one biofilms, the third one is pneumococcal surface protein A, PSPA, and the fourth one is toxins. Let's start with the capsule first. Capsule protects the bacteria against phagocytosis. When the bacteria is protected against the phagocytosis, infections like OPC, overwhelming post-splenectomy infection, can occur in asplenic patients. I've written asplenic individuals. Let's talk about it. Normally, what happens in our body, that if any foreign particle that you can see in purple color gets into our body, what happens that our immune system tags this with C3b, this protein. So what happens is, this is opsonization. And spleen will send different macrophages and other immune cells to go and do phagocytosis and remove this foreign antigen, if it's a bacteria, virus, or anything, from the body. And what happens if a person is having asplenia? Asplenia can be of 2 types. Number 1, anatomic. It can be due to surgical removal of spleen or maybe due to an accident, and functional. It can be due to certain diseases like sickle cell anemia, where there is crisis in spleen and is not responsible for performing its normal functions. So if spleen is not performing its normal functions, and if spleen is absent in the body, what will happen? There will be no opsonization, no phagocytosis, so the foreign antigen has got the chance to infect the person. And if a person with asplenia present with these symptoms like fever, fatigue, malaise, sepsis, and death, you should come to know that this was Streptococcus pneumoniae. Let's talk about the biofilm. When bacteria enter the body, it attaches to mucosal surfaces, like it lives in nasopharynx, and in our nose there are mucosal surfaces. So what will it do? It will form biofilms there. And these biofilms will cause infection, and they can spread to different parts of body. If you want to know more about biofilm, I do have a detailed video on that. Find its link in the description. Let's talk about pneumococcal surface protein A, PSPA. It inhibits complement activation, like opsonization and phagocytosis, kind of asplenia condition. Toxins. Number 1 is IgA protease. It is an enzyme that cleaves mucosal IgA, which is responsible for causing mucosal infections. And in mucosal infections, it will definitely cause inflammation. So there's a mnemonic for that, MOPS. Or you can also replace it with POMS. If it spreads to lungs, it will cause pneumonia. If it spreads to middle ear, it will cause what? Otitis media. If it spreads to sinuses, it will cause sinusitis. And if it spreads to meninges, the protective layers of brain, it will cause meningitis. IgA normally binds the invading bacteria. The second toxin is autolysin. It is responsible for causing the destruction of bacteria and release of internal component. The mnemonic for that is LD. Autolysin will cause local inflammation and destruction of host tissue. Pneumolysine is one of the components. It's bind to cholesterol in cell membrane, it forms pores there and causes cell lysis. This leads to destruction of pneumocytes and alveolar capillaries. Why? Because it normally occurs in lungs. Streptococcus pneumoniae is responsible for causing many diseases. The important ones are pneumonia, rhinosinusitis, otitis media, mastocytitis, meningitis. If it entered the blood, it will be termed as bacteremia. It only occurs in severe cases. Then due to bacteremia, following diseases will occur. If it spreads to heart via blood flow, it will cause pneumococcal endocarditis or purulent pericarditis. If it spreads to meninges, it will cause meningitis. If it spread to joints, it will cause septic arthritis. If it spread to or peritoneal cavity inhabits there, it will cause peritonitis. If there is no spleen due to either functional reasons or anatomic reasons, it will cause sepsis. Clinical findings: every disease will have its own symptoms. Let's talk about pneumonia. It will have symptoms like chill, fever, cough pain, and the person will present with a rusty sputum. Rhinosinusitis, patient will have facial pain, fever, and headache. Lab diagnosis: we'll need samples of sputum, pus, CSF, the cerebrospinal fluid, because the organism is responsible for causing meningitis. We'll also need peritoneal fluid. We'll go for microscopy. On gram staining, it will reveal that is gram-positive because it stained purple. It is lancet-shaped diplococci in nature. Its diameter varies from 0.5 to 1.25 micrometer. As you can see, this is how it looks under the microscope. Purple-colored diplococci forming chains. Lab diagnosis: as we know that this bacteria is catalase negative, so no bubbles will be formed. Normally what happens in catalase test, that if a bacteria releases catalase enzyme, it will convert hydrogen peroxide into water and oxygen is responsible for forming bubbles. But in case of Streptococcus pneumoniae, there's no catalase enzyme. So hydrogen peroxide will not be converted into water and oxygen and no bubbles will be formed. Culture. On blood agar, this bacteria will show alpha-hemolysis, its colonies will be bile-soluble and optochin-sensitive. Culture tests normally take long time to show their results. That's why there's an alternate test available, that is rapid test. This is how the Streptococcus pneumoniae culture looks like. How do we distinguish both alpha-hemolytic bacteria? The Streptococcus pneumoniae and streptoviridans. The growth of Streptococcus pneumoniae is inhibited by optochin, while that of viridans is not. So this is one distinguishing feature. The second one is that the colonies of Streptococcus pneumoniae are bile-soluble, while that of viridans are not. Treatment. Most pneumococcal infections are treated with beta-lactamases, for example penicillin, macrolide, for example erythromycin, and third-generation cephalosporins. How do we prevent that infection from occurring? Streptococcus pneumoniae is the only one having vaccine against it, but the rest of streptococci have no vaccines that can work against them. So vaccination will definitely help prevent this infection. Let's talk about vaccines. There are two types of vaccines available. One is pneumococcal polysaccharide vaccine, that is PPV23, and it has 23 purified capsular antigens and it is available for adults. The second one is pneumococcal conjugate vaccine. It is PCV1313. Capsular polysaccharides are sensitive to 13 strep pneumoniae serotypes, and it is bound to non-toxic recombinant of diphtheria toxin that is called CRM197, and it is available for young children. The other things that can help us prevent this infection from occurring is maintenance of a healthy lifestyle, practicing good hygiene, and staying away from sick individuals. Alright guys, let's review this lecture really quick. The organism is Streptococcus pneumoniae. It is responsible for causing infections like pneumonia, bacteremia, opsy, cellulitis, meningitis, otitis media, sinusitis, and sepsis. It is not much communicable because it's a part of human normal flora, but it can spread due to respiratory droplets. Humans are the main reservoirs and there's no animal host for that bacteria. And the primary location is nasopharynx. Diagnosis is based based on gram stain, microscopy, culture, catalase test, optochin sensitivity, it is optochin sensitive, and bile solubility, this bacterium is bile soluble. Treatment is done with penicillin, macrolide, and third generation cephalosporins. That's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. You've learned something. If you really did, give this video a big thumbs up. Comment down below in the comment section. And I've also got my social media if you want to connect with me. I've got my Instagram, I've got my Twitter, and I do upload blogs. I'll catch you soon. Assalamualaikum.